You know what? Sometimes you take a chance on something, right? I don't know what it is. There's something that catches your eye. So you take that chance and you hope it pays off. And when it does, people, it's a great feeling. So, yeah, I have just checked out the directorial debut of Roshan Sethi. Right. So, yeah, his new film is 7 Days. Okay, so yes, as I said, it's his directorial debut. He co-wrote the film with Karan Soni. It's produced by Mel Eslin and Liz Cordinas. Cinematography is Jeremy Mackey. It's edited by Stephanie Kaznuka. Music is from Amanda Dolores Patricia Jones. You know, when one name just won't do. And the cast, well, it's also starring Sonny. He plays Ravi. We've got Geraldine Vis Viswanathanan. She plays Rita. We've got the voice of Mark Duplass. He's Daddy. We've got Zenobi Shuroff. She's Rita's mum. We've got Geeta Reddy. She's Ravi's mum. Aparna Nanchalera is Swavi. Jeffrey Self is Dr. Henry. Azif Ali is Azif. And Vinny Shibar is Vinny. Okay, so the plot of this one is after an uncomfortable prearranged date, Ravi and Rita are forced to shelter in place due to COVID-19. Now, yeah, I can't quite remember what was the actual thing that made me think to myself, you know what? I'm gonna check this film out. I don't know. It might have been the image on the BFI website. I don't know. I have no clue. But I tell you this, right? When Duplass Brothers films comes up on the screen, I don't know what it is, people. It's just a little bit of it's that comfort, right? You see that name, okay. I feel this should be good because you know now obviously you don't expect everyone to everything they do to hit it out the park, right? But for the most part, I will say I've enjoyed all the things that the past brothers have done. Together, separately, they're usually decent. Usually decent. Now, when it's a project they're just acting in, yeah, there's been the odd one or two, but yeah, usually they kill it, right? And I just remember, gosh, I want to say it was 2019 when I think Mark was in Pink Wall, right? Tom Collins film, which was so good. People, if you have not seen that one, you need to go check it out because it is tremendous. It's a fantastic film. But yeah, so I thought that was reassurance. And so it starts off, right? We get a load of couples, a load of Indian couples um talking about how they met, right? So it's the guy and the girl, and this is where we met. We met on Shavi.com, or our parents knew each other, or my sister set me up with her friend, or it was something like that. But they were all um arranged, all arranged situations. So we get that. But, all these people generally sound like they really love each other, you know, which is nice. Now, hey, I have come across people that have met that way and it wasn't so good. Or I knew a guy and he was like the first few years weren't the best, but then over time, that changed. You know what I mean? It was that or the red wine he was drinking. But yeah, no, it sorted itself out. But yeah, um, we have that. Then we get Ravi and Rita's dating profiles. But what makes it just fantastic is the fact that their mums read the profile. Oh my gosh. So I don't know if it's like their mums read it or if there's the a voice note option on the website, because I think on some of these websites you can add voice messages and voice notes now, right? Yeah, I think some have got video. So I don't know if it's that or if they just had the mums read them out, but it's great because we start off with Ravi's and it's just like, oh yeah, Ravi, he's what I've got 3 sons. Ravi's my favorite. I tell him that all the time, and you're just like, oh shit. I mean, that's not great. That's not great. Because you're just thinking, it's gonna be some mama's boy or something, you know what I mean? But also, so he's get that, he says he's a researcher. It's just he loves his job so much. It's his choice. He has no hobbies. You're just like, yo, what the fuck? oh, oh my gosh. And then, right? Now I remember the first time I went to the States, right? And I was watching TV. It was I got back to my room. I was staying in some crazy ass place. It was kind of surrounded by these roads which I didn't know how to cross. I literally just would shut my eyes and run across the road. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. I didn't die, which that's a plus. But it meant I once I got back to the hotel, I didn't really leave. So after being out all day, I'd come back and get some food in this lovely little diner that was close by. And then you just throw on the TV and see what's on. But I was blown away by the adverts, right? Because you'd have an advert for some painkillers, and you'd be like, try head pain no more. Head pain no more. It relieves all head pain and blah blah blah. And be like, side effects are, diarrhea, stomach aches, possibly death. And he was like, yeah, what? Did they just say possibly death? They just skated past that, right? And Remy's mum does a similar thing. She's just like, oh, as a family, we don't lie. So I think it's only fair that I let you know that Remy suffers from hypertension and the killer was just like, oh, he was fat when he was little. So there's the worry of potential diabetes. Just like, oh, shit. It's just, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? It's insane. And so that's just gold, right? We then get onto Rita's profile, and like Rita's one, her mum just kills it, right? Because it's just she's very traditional. She's happy to do what her husband tells her. She really wants to to have children. She's pescatarian, but she is happy to become a vegetarian for the family who requests it. And you're just like, shit, you just threw Shorty under the train. You know what I mean? It was just like, what the fuck was that? So that golden way to start a film, as you know, I'm all in right now. You know what I mean? I'm just like, yes, okay, let's go. Now, granted, remember, people, I don't do trailers. You know what I mean? I didn't read synopsis, so I wasn't quite sure what the fuck this was. And then we see them on a date, right? We see them on a date, and they've got the face masks, they're wearing gloves, which is like super OTT and crazy. But I'm just like, oh, this is a COVID film. Fuck. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. The great thing about this film festival is it's the escapism, right? It's jumping into these stories, you know, different cultures, all that jazz, different universes sometimes, and forgetting about this bullshit. So, you know, I've been avoiding like these a lot of these COVID things just because a lot of them aren't good, right? A lot of them really aren't good. And yeah, I know what happened, right? I know what happened. So I don't need a reminder of what got me made redundant. You feel me? And scuppered all my plans. Don't need it. So that was a little bit like, fuck, Chris, man. Is this just going to be some cliche, played out bullshit? Fuck. I thought it was going to be something different. So they're on this date, and the day is super awkward, right? Just because Ravi is a little anal retentive. To say it nicely. You know what I mean? Because yeah, he's requested them to wear the gloves, and she's just like, "We're outside. We could take the masks off, right?" Nope, no. And he's like, "Could you move back a little bit?" You know, and it's just like, yo, a little crazy. Um, Also, you know, like he doesn't drink, and he doesn't drink. He's a vegetarian, and yeah, Rita's mum said that you know, she doesn't drink either. So he gets lemonade, right? Lemonade is like, oh, I love lemonade, so I got lemonade, and she's just like, oh, I thought you didn't drink, because it's hard lemonade. It's like Krabby's, or you know, I don't know what brands they've got stateside or anywhere else, but yeah, you know, like the hard seltzers and lemonades, and you know, things like ginger beers and things like that. That's all kind of blown up, right? I think you can get like alcoholic kombucha now too. So yeah, he made a mistake, and he's just like, it's the end of the world for old Ravi. You know, so it's super crazy. So it's not the optimum first date, you know what I mean? But as they're there, then they both get text messages, right? It's the, oh, all flights are cancelled. There's an issue. Boom, boom, boom. So they're like, oh, fuck. You know, so they go back to hers. He can't, he's trying to get a hotel, can't get a hotel. So she's like, all right, you can stay on my sofa. So he's like, okay. They said the flight will be tomorrow. Cool. And you know, her place, it's a mess, you know. He's like, oh, so you got a roommate? She's like, no. You know what I mean? There's just rubbish everywhere, clothes, all that jazz, right? It's that 180 to what he was thinking, especially with the profiles, like, you know what I mean? Oh, she's traditional, she's like super house proud, you know, just all these things. And then he gets to the spot, and it's not like that. And especially he goes to sit down, and there's alcohol bottle. He's like, oh, that's my landlord's, right? So there's all these excuses, and it's just like, oh. But yeah, he's waiting around, and then he's just like, you know what? Okay, let's just make it work. So they're there. Then the next day he's up quick and he gets a cab. He's going. He's ready to go. And as soon as he leaves, she's opened up that fridge. She's grabbed the beer. There's some fried chicken in there that she hid, and she's eating that. She turns around and Ravi's there because the cab didn't turn up in the end, and they got another message. There's nothing going. There's nothing going. They got to quarantine before they can do anything. So they're meant to quarantine for a few days. So it's just like, okay. So they're forced to stay. But now, right now, he's kind of seen the real Rita. The real Rita. So it's just like, huh. And he's a bit like, you know what I mean? It's just that, oh, well, you know what? I'm not gonna judge you, but it's like that super patronizing, and they're just butting heads, right? They're butting heads and they're talking, but it's like, you know what I mean? Because people always say opposites don't attract, right? Which I always find just the stupidest thing, right? Stupidest thing. But because online is crazy, right? And I think this is what this film does. It takes that look at it. Now, yes, granted, there's a lot of things that have tried to do this, right? And the things that have done it well, right? Let's be honest. You know, some things have definitely worked. Some things not so much. Some things are just a little cliched. So it's just like the film does take that look, right, at these relationships and the things people say, the pressure people are under to be in those relationships, the masks we wear, right? That's what this is. You know, it's looking at all of those different things and trying to address them all, right? But trying to do it in a fun way without being too like, people, this is the truth, you know, or just being too over the top and silly. Now, obviously, right, there are cliches up in the piece, you know, like there's a moment where Ravi accidentally drinks, and it's the reaction to the alcohol. It's not as bad as, you know what I mean? Like when you see a film when someone tries drugs, usually weed, and it's just like, oh, I'm super hungry now. And it's just like, oh, it's so ugh, just dumb. So dumb. So it's not as bad as that. It does loosen them up, which to be fair, you know what I mean? Some alcohol can do that. I was surprised because it is whiskey, right? And whiskey, it is an acquired taste, I feel. It's not one of those things that everyone's going to drink and love. So it is surprising, but you know what I mean? We get that reaction too. And so there are, some things like that, which you could have probably guessed would happen somewhere in this film, right? There is that. But there's also this there is an honesty in a lot of the interactions, right? So Rita has, she's doing all of this. She's going on these dates. She doesn't want to settle down, right? She doesn't want to get married. She doesn't want to have kids, but she's being forced to do it by her mum because she's unemployed. Her mum's paying her rent. So it's just like she's got to do this thing. And she's kind of in a situation, right? But that situation is not the best. It's not the best. And it's very much dictated by the other party, which that's a thing, right? I mean, that's the thing. Some people, they find themselves in those situations. And it's like, because you want to be in something, you know, You want to be in something. So you might think to yourself, I don't want to be married. Like, I don't want this, I don't want that. But this beats doing nothing. This beats being on your own, so you do something, right? And you're jumping to someone else's beat. You know, it's like, do this. You can only contact me on these days, right? If you want to do something, you have to do this, and then do this, and then we talk, and it's just like, ugh, you know. But you do it. So there's that, right? I think we see the relationships they have with their parents. You know, sometimes there's things people will say that are just cutting, right? Cutting. And you kind of know that it's not meant with malice, right? There's a point where because obviously, right, with these arranged date things, there's always to check in, so both the parents set of parents call, and we hear Rita's mum call, right? She's just like, oh, um, you didn't show him the real you, right? She's like, no, mum, I didn't show him the real me. She's like, good, because no one could love that. And it's just like, oh, you felt that punch in the stomach, man. That cut deep, you know? That's some mean shit. But you kind of know that Rita's mum doesn't. She's not trying to say it in a horror. She wants her daughter to be happy, right? She wants her daughter to find someone who loves her, find a situation because she found a situation, right? And so it's just like, well, look, don't do that because I find that irritating. So, these potential guys probably do. So, yeah, don't do that. And don't do it. And so they say these things, and it's just, it's not the best. You don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? It doesn't boost confidence. So we have this, right? You then have, because Ravi is this tight laced dude, right? Only, he's very strict. I only do this and I only do that, and and he needs to cut loose a bit, right? But when asked, right, because it's that kind of thing where now they're confined in this space, so it's like we have to ask each other questions, and so they're asking questions, but it's a bit, it can get interrogation like, right? And I think when he through frustration kind of thing, but she's just a bit like, yo, son, you need to chill, right? He kind of, it's when you let too much out, right? And he lets too much out. He also does when he's drunk, right? And it's just a bit that he's lonely, and he'd rather do this and then try and make it work than be nothing at all. And it's just like, oh man, feel your pain, son. Like that's sad, right? But and I don't mean it's sad like, oh, that's so pathetic, but it's just because I think everyone can relate to that, you know? Like maybe not to that extent, right? But I think when all your friends, your peoples have all kind of partnered up, and you're the only one that hasn't, there is that something, that thought of, oh, what about me? Like, is it gonna happen to me? Like, you know what I mean? And it's usually late at night when these questions get asked and they spin around and round and round. So you feel bad, but you then see over the course of time how they change their viewpoints on certain things where they've been so rigid of, no, we will never do this, and no, I only do this, You know, we see how that changes, and then especially when things get crazy, right? When things go to that point where, oh shit, what's gonna happen now? Right? That I think sometimes it's only when faced with, destruction, that you see the trueness in a situation and the trueness in yourself. You know, it's like when people don't know how they're going to react in a crisis. How many times someone is just like, oh, if someone comes up to me, I'm going to tell them no. I'm going to tell them no. I'm going to punch them in their fucking face. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then when it all goes down, they're running. They're the first person to run or hide behind someone else's back. And then you have other people who are a bit like, nah, I don't like confrontation, man. But when it goes down and their friends getting picked on, they step up, right? So sometimes, yeah, it's only in those situations that you see who you are. And I think COVID showed a lot of people who the fuck they be, right? Whether it's, do you have your friends back, right? Do you have your partners back? How do you handle crisis? How resilient are you? I think it definitely showed people a lot of that. And that's what it does with Ravi and Rita. So we get to see this journey these two are on. And it definitely kind of ties into a lot of the stuff that's said at the beginning, you know, when it relates to the dating and all of that. But although there are jokes in this, right? Ravi's doing his impressions of a strict uncle, I mean, that kind of thing. They're singing, they're dancing, all of these things. It's funny, right? You will definitely laugh during this film. But as I said, look, there's these moments of truth and honesty. And I think the ending is it's definitely kind of poignant, right? And it definitely does it does melt your heart a little. Ain't gonna lie, melts your heart. And there's these really nice moments throughout this film. There's these really honest, nice moments, man, that you just be like, oh man, that's nice. Yes. And the ending, yeah, the ending is nice. And it's not like it doesn't do the thing that you worry it might do, but it leaves it at a point where, you know, you have that hope. You have that hope and happiness. So yeah, I really enjoyed this film, people. Right? It's one of those ones where I'm like, you know what? I would watch this again. I would watch this again, and I will recommend it to my peoples. Right? So yes, you might have missed it at the Prince Charles today, but it is also playing at the Curzon Soho in Screen 3, one of the smaller screens, tomorrow, the 15th of October. And then on Saturday, the 16th, it's at the Odeon Lux West End, the nice new Odeon in Leicester Square. So yeah, that's where. So tomorrow it's playing at 6 o'clock, and on Saturday it's playing at 20 to 9 p.m. People, obviously. Now, from what I can see, both of these screenings are currently sold out. But people, remember, there are returns. So check with the BFI box office, the ticket office, because you never know what the fuck's going to happen. Yeah, things come up, babysitters fall through, people get ill. So, yeah, there may well be a return. Keep them little fingers crossed. Because, yeah, this hey, this is a really nice film. I really enjoyed it. Ooh. Um, I'm trying to think of like, what I mean, similar kind of stuff. I mean, like, what if 500 Days of Summer? Um, it's kind of got a Eternal Sunshine for a Spotless Mind ending. With that ending of hope and possibility. You know, obviously it's not the same kind of film. It's not as serious as Spotless Mind, but yeah, it's got that hope and possibility. Away we go. I think if you like those sort of things, I think 7 Days will be a film for you. So, um, yeah, unfortunately, I can't seem to see any other release information. It doesn't seem to have any any potential dates on cinematic releases and anything like that. But it is doing the festival circuit, people. So yeah, if you've got a film festival happening near you, I check the listings and see if 7 Days is showing. You know, follow everyone's socials, because I'm sure when the actual big release, the general release comes, it will be there. So yes, people, 7 Days, it's a good one, right? It's a good one, and yeah, it's gonna make you laugh, and it's gonna warm your